Sultanpur, the house of Sri Ramakanta Bhattacharya. All Brahmin families of those times were universally looked up to by virtue of their saintly ways of living. Sri Ramakanta Bhattacharya, his brothers and sons were especially respected for their scholarship and other worldliness. The heads of this family were recognized as Sabha Pandits of the Raja of Agartala. Their cottage was the focal point for neighborly gatherings irrespective of caste or religion. The outer reception room was nearly always full of visitors who came for various purposes, some seeking advice, some with questions regarding religious rites, others with major or minor problems needing resolutions, and lastly, just friends. The big cottage was surrounded by cultivated gardens and hedges. There were 2 ponds beyond the gardens and plenty of fruit trees. Whatever came in from the fields, gardens, or orchards was first dedicated to God. The daily worship of the family deities was the main business of the day. Throughout the year, many festivals were celebrated with great care and circumspection. The most important was the annual Durga Puja in Ashwin. With Bengalis, it is the yearly renewal of a deep seated belief in the legend that the goddess comes to visit her erstwhile earthly home for 3 days. The whole of Bengal prepares for this advent with music, flowers, incense, sweets, each household doing whatever lies in its power to add to the festivities. At Sultanpur, preparations got underway much ahead of the date. Large quantities of grains were stocked. The women made marvelous sweets from coconuts and sugar. The incense laden air and the sweet strains of invocatory songs would proclaim that Durga Puja was at hand. For the 3 days of the puja, the cottage of Sri Ramakanta Bhattacharya became a temple of worship for the entire neighborhood. Everybody was welcome to partake of the prasad, which would be available in large quantities. No invitations were necessary. All were equally welcome to come and join in. The children of the family would be given new clothes. Those who were old enough would be engaged in stringing garlands of flowers gathered from the gardens. Paste was made from red and white sandalwood. The emerald green grass was carefully plucked and arranged in neat bundles. There were 101 things to be done, and everyone could be busy in the service of the goddess. All this Srima saw in her childhood when she visited Sultanpur on these occasions. Every festival has a religious overtone in India, but in some places at certain times it acquires a special quality of solemnity which raises it above the ordinary. Sri Ma has said that the Durga Puja at her grandfather's always did assume an extra mundane aura as if the prayerful invocations were truly answered. Not only the Durga Puja but other religious festivals were also solemnized. Mahashivratri, Sri Krishna Janmashtami, Kali Puja, Saraswati Puja, Sri Ramnavami, and so on. We can be reasonably sure that such a way of life was not peculiar to Bengal. In other parts of this ancient land, there must have been such villages which resembled the hermitages of Upanishadic times, where people lived in obedience to the precept of all this whatsoever moves on the earth should be covered by the Lord. Protect through that detachment. Do not covet, for whose is wealth. To enjoy the goods of life only as prasada created that milieu of self sufficiency and contentment which is the hallmark of inner peace. Such lifestyles do seem to forge a link with the age of the rishis, thereby making it a living tradition even in modern times. A joint family owes its inner harmony to the judicious management of the mistress of the house. Sri Ma's grandmother, Srimati Har Sundari Devi, was an ideal chatelaine. She exercised a benign influence on the entire household. She diffused all conflict situations. Tale-telling was not countenanced. In fact, if somebody made a mistake, she would expect another to render help and not seek to be praised for it. There was thus an overall feeling of friendliness and mutuality in this household. Sri Ma's mother, Srimati Moksha Sundari Devi, a daughter of this house, was a living example of the ideals inculcated in such a family. Born in 1877 in the month of May, she lost her mother when she was little more than a child. It is reported that Srimati Har Sundari had predicted that her end was near. Her daughter thereupon asked her, I hear that you are going away. The mother reassured her, saying, My eldest daughter in law will take my place.